Hashtag
Hey,
Virgo.
what's up, Virgo?
Your
Thank you
ancestors
so much
stepped
for
in
tuning in.
before
My
you
name
chose
is the
wrong.
Oracle G. And yeah, I'm getting ready to bring you another wonderful message for tonight or whenever you tune into this video, okay? Because it is not time sensitive. Now, today's spread is going to be on, it's going to be called Your Ancestors Intervened, okay? So, you know, I think I'm going to pull 4 cards. So I'm going to try to keep it short. However, whichever way spirit leads is how I'm going to do it. Right? But my intentions is to keep it short. Okay, short and sweet. But before we begin, take a deep breath and just literally ground into your body. Okay. So this message is not meant to create fear or dependency. Okay, it's meant to bring clarity, protection, and remembrance. All right. And so if you are here, your ancestors didn't come to scare you, honey. They came because something mattered. Okay. So take what resonates, leave the rest, and trust that what is meant for you will land. All right. Y'all, discernment is key when you watching these collective videos, okay? If you want your own personal message, definitely reach out to me via my website, which is www.wearedivinelyguided.com. All right, y'all. So we're going to go with the first question. So thank you, Holy Spirit. Why did Virgo's ancestors intervene? What triggered ancestral involvement right now? I put, well, what fell was a 6. Okay, so that's literally about harmony. Clarify the 6. Nostalgia. The Lovers in the reverse. So Virgo, your ancestors intervened because you were in a connection. All right. It was like a misaligned bond that you had with someone, or emotional contract that may have looked like love, but it was pulling you out of alignment. Okay. And so your ancestors they intervened, they stepped in because this connection was destined. This is a destined connection, but it was, or it is, unbalanced, right? Because the Lovers represents partnership, marriage. It represents choices, right? Especially when it comes to love. Yeah. Twin flame energy, Gemini all day. Okay. And so again, it's like they intervene because a choice was being made. Okay. And let's just say the collective, right? Either this is you or whoever's connected to you haven't been making the best choices. Okay. So the ancestors had to step in, right? Because a lot of the choices were rooted in duty, guilt, history, or what should be rather than the truth. Okay. So the connection wasn't even really, wasn't grounded in truth. Okay. And so you could have been overgiving into the connection. It could have been some type of self-abandonment, or you could have been staying tied to something that was just familiar, right? Because you're used to certain treatment when it comes to love, right? Or you're used to relationships looking a certain kind of way. And so your ancestors had to step in because you literally were repeating a cycle. It's like you kept going into this loop, okay, over and over and over again. And so with the number 6, again, the number 6 represents the harmony. It represents love. It represents home, okay, and responsibilities, right? And so with this Lovers coming in the reverse, this wasn't love in alignment. This was an attachment. Okay. And so your ancestors intervened because your heart was being asked to carry something that didn't belong to you anymore. And so you have been creating these relationships that are based off of the attachments, the codependencies, you understand, things like that, the abandonment, okay, the rejection, things like that. And so you literally probably were at a fork in the road, or you are, okay? And so one path would have kept you repeating a bloodline pattern, right? And the other path really required intervention, so you didn't choose out of conditioning. And so your ancestors stepped in because, honey, I think you was getting ready to choose out of conditioning, okay? And look, check this out. Like I said, I understand. I've been there, right? I've then made the same choices. My ancestors then stepped in the same kind of way, okay? And so they stepped in to literally prevent a soul tie strengthening when it was actually, or it should have been, dissolving, okay? And yeah, sometimes we make decisions out of fear instead of our self-respect. And so you could have been confusing comfort with compatibility. And so you were close to choosing wrong for the right reasons. And your ancestors was saying that, no, not this time. Okay? Not this time, not you. Okay? You are the one that was sent to break this generational trauma, curse, things like that. Like, you're the chosen one. So what was redirected or blocked? So what was redirected? What was redirected or blocked? What did the ancestors block or redirect? Thank you. I got the number 80, which breaks down to a number 8. Clarify that. Clarified by a King of Cups reverse, 7-11 on a timer, and a King of Wands in the upright position. Pay attention to the synchronicities, y'all, because they be hitting, okay? The number synchronicities, the dreams that you could be having, seeing things in threes. I had one where I told, the universe I wanted to see confirmation of something I asked for through something that you hardly ever see, okay? And so when I see that thing, then it's like, oh, that's the universe confirming for, something I asked for, okay? Now, the number 80, again, it breaks down to the number 8, right? And so we clarify that with these kings here. And so the number 8 represents power and authority, right? It could represent karma, money, legacies, long-term consequences. And so your ancestors stepped in to block this situation where someone could have had power over your emotions, basically. So it's like it's a dynamic that would have created karmic entanglement and not partnership. And you already had one of those, okay? Or again, the pattern or the karmic loop was literally you keep being entangled, okay, in a dynamic that really was overpowering you, for say, okay? And so your energy would have been used. That's just what it is. Like, this person would have pushed you towards their vision and not yours. So this wasn't small. This was a long-term damage prevention. God damn. And so with the King of Cups coming in reverse, this represents emotional manipulation. So someone was emotionally unavailable but expecting access to you. They could have been moody, guilt-tripping, emotionally withdrawn, and using that as control. And so this is literally a person who appears calm but is literally emotionally unstable. This person is very avoidant. And then, your ancestors, they blocked this person because they couldn't regulate their own goddamn emotions. But they wanted to regulate them but do it for them, okay? Not you. And so this person would have literally pulled you into emotional labor, created more confusion instead of safety, and really weaponized vulnerability
Hashtag Virgo. This is how to honor the protection your ancestors just activated.
Okay, so I left off on the ancestral. No, I'm getting ready to start the ancestral message. Okay, so go back to part 1 to catch up. All right, now let me think. So pretty much your ancestors stepped in because you were getting ready to make the wrong choice. Okay, and so what they want you to know right now, right? So this is like the core wisdom, okay, coming from your ancestors. Now, thank you. So this is the message your bloodline needs you to hear clearly, Virgo. Okay, so what do they want Virgo to know right now? Thank you, Holy Spirit. Whew. 111 on the timer. I got the number 20 on the dice, and I'm getting ready to clarify that the dice. And the 10 of Wands in the upright position, y'all. And off the bat, I'm hearing, when it comes to your partnerships and your relationships, things like that, it's like you carry this burden. A lot of emotional labor, right? And so what your ancestors are saying is that you've been carrying more than what was ever meant for you. You've been carrying it for a long time, and it's not temporarily. And it's not accidentally. It's like you just been carrying these things for a long time. Okay, so what they want you to realize, right? Because I got the number 20, and that reduces to 2, and I just seen 222 on the timer. Is that this is literally like judgment before reduction. Right? So this is like a reckoning, a wake-up call, right? And so your bloodline wants you to see clearly that you were conditioned to endure. Wow. You could have been praised for being strong, the strong one, the dependable one, the silent one. They don't say nothing. They don't, you don't ever say anything. You just do it, right? You learn to equate love with responsibility and sacrifice. And now that version of you has expired. Like you ain't in survival mode no more. You don't have to do that anymore, but you were still kind of repeating that pattern, right? And this is generational burden. And so they're naming it clearly. You've been carrying emotional weight that didn't originate with you. 323 on the timer. Holding this space for others while neglecting your own self. Okay? Taking responsibilities for outcomes you didn't even create. Like you stayed because somebody had to. Like you that person that's like, you know what? I gotta stay. I'm already invested. I already, you understand, put my energy and my time into this situation. Right? And so your ancestors are really acknowledging your strength, but they are asking you to stop suffering. You don't have to keep suffering to prove anything, okay? Because you've done enough. You don't need to finish this by breaking yourself. And a 111, that's literally the confirmation. This is alignment plus initiation. And so this message is definitely intentional, right? You're at the exact moment of release. And you have this new pattern that's literally available to you now, not later. And so your ancestors are present. They're watching you and agreeing, okay? So listen closely, Virgo. You are not here to carry the family legacy through exhaustion. You're literally here to end the pattern by choosing differently. That's your role. And so you kept choosing the same. You don't got to explain your limits to nobody. You don't got to justify your rest. You don't got to keep proving your worth through labor. You don't got to stay loyal to what drains you. Like, the bloodline doesn't need another martyr. Literally, it needs a cycle breaker who puts the burdens down. Like, it's time for you to lay the shit down. Like, no, I'm not. So release what was handed to you out of survival and choose what sustains you out of wisdom instead. Okay? So I'm gonna go in the card forward because I don't want to have to make a part 3 to this video. It's just that the messages be like, whew. Thank you. So what you've been guided to do next. So how should Virgo move forward in alignment with their ancestors' protection? This is how you honor their intervention, okay? And you keep the door open with a number 3. All right, that's that self-expression, you know, and that's, I'm definitely digging it. And they've been telling the collective literally, like, look, this is not the time to not express, right? Verbally. Thank you. Emotionally. Thank you. I got that 10 of Pentacles in the upright. Especially when it comes to your own damn legacy. And I got the 5 of Swords in the reverse position. Okay? Yeah, and that's what you're building right now, Virgo. Like, you literally are building a foundation that's very solid. It's strong. So everything had to kind of like just be redirected. Okay? You have great intentions. You have a wonderful spirit and heart. But 7:17 on the timer. It's just time for you to make different choices. Okay? And so your ancestors are really saying, like, to use your voice, choose legacy, and stop really engaging in battles that cost you more than they give you. Okay? So this is a self-expression number. Like I said, the number 3, this is the action that's required, right? Communication and truth-telling. Not later, not soft, not swallow. Like, it got to be very direct, very straightforward. Okay? They're guiding Virgo to literally speak clearly instead of internalizing anything. Name the expectation instead of hoping others will change. This is what I need. Because if you don't ask for what you need, you don't receive, right? Name it. Share truth, even if it disrupts the comfort. Okay? So silence is no longer protection. Expression is. And so the legacy, this is your legacy. Stability, your long-term vision, and that generational wealth. All of that tied together, right? Your ancestors want you to ask the questions. Does this build my future, or is it draining it? Does this align with my life that I'm creating, or the one that I'm escaping from, right? Will this matter 5 years from now? Because if it doesn't support your peace, your home, your finances, your emotional security, your long-term vision, it doesn't get your energy. So this is that grown, rooted, future-focused, decision-making energy your ancestors want you to move in. Literally, like, this is huge. And they're telling you to stop proving points. Stop defending truth to people who is committed to misunderstanding you, Virgo. Okay? Stop trying to, don't lose peace trying to win arguments, right? Stop engaging in power struggles with emotionally immature people. It's just not your battle, right? And every fight does not deserve closure. Some literally deserve the distance. And so with this reversal energy of the 5 of Swords, it's telling you, don't carry the resentment. Don't do anything. Just walk away from the shit clean. Okay? Speak your truth without aggression. Build your legacy without apology. Disengage without guilt, Virgo. right? You honor your ancestors by choosing expression over suppression, by choosing peace over power struggles, and by choosing long-term stability over short-term validation.